I found joy in the late hours of the night when I stumbled upon an unexpected scene unfolding in the garage. James and Lily, my husband and my older sister, were playfully engaged in the back seat of a car, presenting a shocking sight. Overwhelmed by disbelief, I swiftly locked them inside the garage and made my way to my parents' house. Determined to retaliate against those who had been mocking me, I sought support from my parents and a trusted confidant. Upon returning home, I recounted the situation to my parents and a certain individual, seeking their assistance in exacting revenge. Everyone was on board with my plan, fueling my determination to show James and Lily the repercussions they deserved. My name is Summer Young, a newlywed who crossed paths with James during our student days. Despite being classmates in high school, our interactions were limited to committee work. Little did I anticipate that James would approach me in adulthood. Our relationship started innocently during our senior year when James, popular with the girls, began pursuing me. Despite my initial suspicion, he insisted on his genuine love without providing concrete reasons. After 6 months of uncertainty, I succumbed to his words and accepted his proposal. As a novice in love, trusting someone as popular as him required courage. Seeking advice, I turned to my older sister Lily, the Madonna of her class known for her extensive romantic experience. Lily encouraged me, assuring me that no playboy would invest 6 months pursuing someone insincerely. With her support, I decided to give our relationship a chance. The initial year was marked by James's genuine kindness, treating me like a princess with surprises for anniversaries, birthdays, and special events. It was a dreamy time filled with love, and I was grateful for the courage to date him. However, as our relationship progressed towards marriage, the dream began to shatter. Despite earning less than me and spending more time at home, James refused to contribute to household chores, leaving everything to me. His reluctance to help, coupled with disastrous attempts at cooking and laundry, transformed our home into chaos. The financial burden fell entirely on my shoulders, as James used his salary for personal entertainment and consumables. Before marriage, he portrayed himself as supportive and committed to doing his best. Yet, once we began living together, he transformed into what seemed like a freeloader. Frustration grew as my attempts to involve him in household responsibilities failed, and even my mother-in-law expressed concerns about his behavior. The realization of the severity of the situation hit me hard when I witnessed it firsthand. Ironically, I recalled your advice not to engage in excessive housework, yet now, when the consequences are apparent, you turn the blame on me. Initially, I patiently tried to teach James how to handle household chores, but his short temper and quick anger made any mention of housework a trigger. Frightened by his reactions, I reluctantly declared that I would attempt to manage it on my own. As a human being, juggling nursing, which is more demanding than people realize, and home responsibilities became overwhelming. My physical strength, compared to my early 20s, had declined, making the balance between work and home even more challenging. The workload had more than doubled from my solo living days, and in such a situation, I thought it wasn't wrong to seek a helping hand from anyone, even a cat. However, every attempt to ask for help from James resulted in anger and aggression. Pointing out his weaknesses or dislikes triggered explosive reactions. Once, when I bravely confronted him, he threw objects at the wall, nearly injuring me. Fear set in, and thoughts of divorce crossed my mind. However, each time I expressed the desire to end our marriage, he transformed into a different person, expressing love and remorse, pleading for forgiveness. Caught in a cycle of fear, love, and dependency, I couldn't easily dismiss him from my life. He was the first person I genuinely fell in love with, and the fear of not finding a better relationship after him was reinforced by comments from Lily and James during our dating days. Their words echoed in my mind, convincing me that breaking up with James might condemn me to a lonely life. Under the influence of such sentiments, I felt completely controlled by him. Even as I contemplated breaking free, the memories of our time together flooded back, making it challenging to abandon someone who, despite the terrible treatment, seemed to need me. It was a classic case of the one in love losing themselves in the struggle to salvage a relationship. I found myself deeply entangled in James's manipulative tactics, and his words seemed to encapsulate my predicament. I want to support you too, but I'm just really bad at housework, and I'm counting on you for it. Don't say such sad things. Please keep up the good work. I'll try to do what I can too. Despite his angry outburst, when he saw my fear, he approached and embraced me, gently stroking my hair as if to calm me down. James knew how to employ both positive and negative reinforcement, always relying on my support. In moments when I thought it was all over for me, being needed and loved by James, despite my shy and introverted nature, became a way to affirm my existence. James was perceptive and possessed excellent communication skills, skillfully manipulating situations. Having experienced low self-esteem and bullying during my student days, his tactics, such as claiming he was the only one who needed me and loved me with all my flaws, kept me emotionally entangled. I remained oblivious to these manipulative tactics until a fateful moment approached, coinciding with our first wedding anniversary. Encouraged by my parents, we decided to celebrate the occasion. Their suggestion was partly influenced by their deep concern for me, knowing that I tended to be overly self-sacrificing, putting others before myself. When I pursued a career as a nurse, their support was unwavering, although they worried about my tendency to prioritize others over my well-being. My father, not one to interfere usually, took the unusual step of inviting James for a serious talk, emphasizing that I was their treasure and warning James not to take his responsibilities lightly. James, unfazed by the intimidating tone, earnestly sought their permission and expressed his desire to make our wedding special, even considering a church ceremony. His words, contrasting with his usual behavior, momentarily captivated me. Lost in these memories, James's troubled smile brought me back to reality. The disparity between his words and his actions raised questions about his true feelings. I yearned for kindness not just on special occasions, but every day. Simple moments of sharing meals, watching movies, and laughing together held the potential for happiness. Pondering on why James would utter hurtful words despite claiming to love me, I grappled with my limited experience in relationships. I constantly grappled with the idea that I might be the problem, questioning if there was something inherently wrong with me. The notion that James didn't desire me due to some lacking qualities haunted my thoughts. In response, I convinced myself to work harder, diligently suppressing any thoughts of confronting him about our issues. Contrary to my inner turmoil, my parents, having listened to James, regarded him with admiration, considering him a good husband. Unaware of the underlying issues, they thought I was fortunate to have him. During that time, I shared the same sentiment, genuinely believing that I was lucky to have James as my husband. My parents' gentle gazes at him only fueled that perception. However, what I failed to recognize was that they were oblivious to the complexities of our relationship. Little did they know about the internal struggles and emotional turmoil I was experiencing. Lily, who happened to be present during these interactions, effortlessly added to the facade. She casually sat next to James, placed her hand on his knee, and leaned in with an upward glance, skillfully flirting. Unlike me, Lily was social, beautiful, and always on trend, wearing only branded items. Her husband's prosperous company afforded her a lavish lifestyle. While she often belittled me, using her affectionate facade, she had a way of manipulating and using me. At that time, I remained unaware of Lily's ulterior motives and happily relied on her for support. Lily had a talent for subtly undermining my confidence while seemingly being affectionate. She skillfully manipulated situations to her advantage, all the while enjoying the affection she received from me. Lily's daily mockery and subtle insults became routine. Utilizing her cute face and tears as weapons, she successfully alienated people from me, leaving me isolated. Everyone, except for my parents, sided with Lily. Whenever Lily belittled me, my mother stepped in to scold her. Lily would quickly retreat from the scene, but the emotional scars lingered. My joy was consistently overshadowed by Lily's undermining comments. Despite James and my parents offering apologies, the damage was done, and my heart remained wounded. He simply laughed it off, pretending not to mind. Deep down, I yearned for some kind words of concern, but the courage to voice such presumptuous thoughts eluded me. Blaming myself, I had become accustomed to resolving my own issues, burying my hopes for emotional support. The day before our wedding, set to take place at a church, Lily visited my house, citing its proximity to the venue. After dinner and some drinks, we decided to call it a night. The plan was for James and me to sleep in the same bed, while Lily would sleep in my room. Around midnight, warmth vanished from the bed, and I woke up feeling cold. James was gone, and it seemed a bit unusual for him to leave without saying anything. I went to check the car in the garage, thinking he might be nearby. That's when I heard Lily's voice near the car. James's car was there, and it didn't look like he had gone to the convenience store. As I walked toward the sound, I was met with an unbelievable sight. I found James and Lily in the back seat, engaged in an intimate act. Speechless, I collapsed on the spot. Unaware of my presence, they continued, lost in each other. The car windows were open, allowing their moans and breaths to permeate the air. I hid, fighting the urge to vomit, struggling to comprehend the reality before me. The scene unfolded like a nightmare, and I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. Unconcerned about my presence, they continued passionately seeking each other. Witnessing James's desire for Lily, in a way he never showed for me, cut deep into my heart. Then, I'd overheard even more horrifying words from their mouths. It's like a dream, being able to connect with Lily like this. James, you really do love me, don't you? You even told me before how you've admired me since our school days, Lily said, revealing a shocking fact. The revelation filled me with surprise and confusion. James and Lily had known each other since their school days. The betrayal was deeper than I had. James' revelation hit me like a tidal wave. He admitted that he had known Lily from the time of the cultural festival, where she used Summer to get closer to him. The shock of his confession brought back a memory, making me realize that James had targeted me from that time, just to use me. Tears welled up from the depth of my shock. The realization of being manipulated and used was overwhelming. Connected with Lily like this, James went on to say that when I approached him, it felt like a dream to think I'd suggest something so harmful. His words revealed the depth of their conniving relationship. Their connection started with Lily, who knew about James's feelings, and she instigated their relationship. To be with Lily, who was already married, James married me to become her brother-in-law, making it less suspicious for them to be close. Lily's husband was often away on business trips, leaving her almost free to do as she pleased. James thought that by becoming Lily's brother-in-law, their relationship would be less suspicious. The shocking truth left me unable to hold back my tears. Quietly, I moved away from the scene, ran to the front door, and closed it behind me, collapsing on the spot. The realization that they had been using me from the very beginning was unbearable. The thought that they had such intentions towards me was unforgivable, and I was filled with anger and hatred. The love I had for James had evaporated. Determined, I went to the garage where they were, with a key in hand. The garage was secured with a shutter, and the only entrance was locked. Disgusted by their thoughtless actions, I slowly closed the shutter, locking it securely. Then, I headed to my parents' house nearby and broke down, sharing with them what had happened. My parents, surprised to see me in my loungewear at such an hour, were concerned. Oddly, they were both awake, breaking their regular schedule. As I walked in, I saw my brother-in-law, Lily's husband, sitting on the sofa. His sincere and earnest demeanor made me hesitate to tell him about the day's events. However, he seemed to sense something was wrong. "Did you hear it too?" he asked, showing me a recording device. The conversation played on it was exactly what I had overheard between James and Lily. James's words echoed in my mind. "When you approached me, it felt like a dream to think you'd suggest something this bad. You're really something else." The recording in my brother-in-law's possession was an exact match to what I had overheard between James and Lily earlier. Astonished and agitated, I couldn't help but ask, "Why do you have this?" My brother-in-law, troubled by the revelation, began to explain. He had found out about the affair 3 months ago when an employee reported seeing James and Lily disappearing into a hotel district. Outraged by their infidelity, my brother-in-law hired a detective to gather evidence. Today, knowing Lily was visiting my house, the detective closely monitored her and obtained the damning recording. Initially, my brother-in-law thought that if Lily sought comfort in material possessions, he wouldn't say anything. However, involving James was different. Seeing how much I cared for him, he couldn't forgive them. My brother-in-law, who had always taken great care of me, as if I were his real sister, could not bear to see me hurt because of those two. Just knowing that he felt this way brought some solace to my heart. Intent on confronting Lily about a divorce, my brother-in-law had collected decisive proof and come to talk to my parents. Despite their pain, my parents looked pained, and my father even apologized to my brother-in-law. My mother tearfully added, "Do whatever you need to feel satisfied. It's not your fault. It's those two who used Summer and committed these terrible acts." Despite his own pain, my brother-in-law remained composed and comforted my parents. Then he turned to me and asked, "Summer, what do you want to do?" "I just want to sever ties with Lily, but I'm sure you need more closure," he suggested. "Yes, my wife seduced your husband. I want to support you in any way so you can find peace," he continued. Struck by my brother-in-law's intense gaze, I declared, "I want to take revenge on them." Overwhelmed by anger and frustration, I couldn't hold back my tears as I looked up at my brother-in-law and expressed my true feelings for the first time. I want them to experience despair. "Leave the financial matters to me. I'll do whatever I can." Surprised at my own ability to conceive such a daunting plan, my brother-in-law and even my parents agreed to help. Thus, our family's plan for revenge began. 2 days later, James and Lily arrived at my parents' home, finally free from the garage. They were still in the same clothes from 3 days ago, unwashed and slightly sour-smelling. Lily's makeup was ruined, and both looked disheveled. Upon their arrival, James and Lily were quick to raise their voices in shrill tones, blaming me for locking them up. I calmly faced them at the entrance, my composed demeanor seeming to infuriate them even more. They shouted, accusing me of leaving them locked up for 2 days. I responded with composure, shutting them down. "Shut up. Do you think you can talk to me like that? How could you lock us up and leave us for 2 days? If the workers hadn't found us, what do you think would have happened to us? We come back to the house, and there are strangers there showing us some contract, saying it's not our house anymore. What the hell is going on? Explain yourself." After they were locked up, with my brother-in-law's help, the garage was demolished. The house, which belonged to me, was emptied of all essentials and provided to an acquaintance as a rental. It was designed for eventual cohabitation with both our parents, so it was quickly rented out due to its accessibility features. James's belongings were hastily packed and sent to his family's home. Thanks to the people my brother-in-law called, the work was done quickly and efficiently. Expressing my annoyance at their behavior, my face twisted in disgust. As James reached out to grab me in his anger, my brother-in-law stepped in, intercepting his hand and protecting me. I addressed them with disdain. "You two are truly incorrigible. A man who readily resorts to violence against a woman. What kind of person are you? Aren't you ashamed? Why are you here? And why are Mom and Dad?" "It's our family home, so of course my parents would be there," I calmly responded. However, Lily was shocked for a different reason. Everyone who used to dote on her was now standing behind me, supporting me. She couldn't understand why no one was coming to her aid. "Haven't you realized the situation you're in? What do you mean?" James retorted, trying to free his hand. At that moment, my brother-in-law played the recording he had of them. "What? You've been recording us? But how?" They didn't have any personal items that could have been used for recording, and their phones were inside the house. At that point, They were clearly puzzled, wondering how. That's when my brother-in-law revealed a sly grin. I've been aware of your affair for quite some time. That's why I hired a detective to gather conclusive evidence of your infidelity. Lily's face turned pale upon hearing this. She had no idea her affair was known, let alone that a detective was following her. Witnessing the professionalism of the detective's work, Lily was left speechless, standing frozen as if everything before her had turned pitch black. With such decisive evidence, I was surprised and couldn't help but laugh. That's illegal. You can't do that. Yeah, we could report this to the police. Do you have that evidence? Trying to salvage the situation, the two attempted to intimidate my brother-in-law. However, he was unyielding, unfazed. He countered their threats with firm words, his resolute stance causing both James and Lily to recoil in fear. If you two, financially inferior to me, want to hire a lawyer and take me to court, I'll gladly accept the challenge. I can simply say I happened upon your affair and recorded it. If you want to fight me, gather evidence that can beat me first. Indeed, he was a shrewd business executive, and his quick thinking was extraordinary. James and Lily, unable to respond, shifted their target to me. You locked us up. That's a crime. Do you have proof? Faced with the same question again, James faltered. Seizing the opportunity, I began to confront him with logical arguments. You don't have evidence that I locked you up, do you? But there's evidence of your affair. It's recorded on the security camera of that shutter. A dirty video of you two getting into the car and doing unspeakable things. Hearing this, their faces drained of color, and they began to back away in fear. Your words, I believed in them for years. I thought you genuinely cared for me, but it was all an act just to connect with Lily, just for your affair. No, Summer, please forgive me. I really did love only you. Me too. What happened with James was just a moment of weakness. It wasn't serious, I swear. Please believe me, forgive me. Realizing their disadvantage, they immediately switched to begging for forgiveness, clinging at our feet in a pathetic display, tears streaming down their faces. Let go? What? Let go of me, I yelled at James, while my brother-in-law pushed Lily away. How could anyone forgive you two for what you've done? I'll never forgive you, no matter what. You can live with your regrets in hell. My voice, filled with a fury they had never seen, frightened them, and they fled the house. My worried parents approached me, and my brother-in-law gently stroked my hair, praising my courage. At that moment, overwhelmed with relief, I broke down in tears. The painful days I had endured felt like a true hell, clinging to memories I had barely managed to endure. But I knew my breaking point was near. Ending that life before it broke me was a relief, and my emotions finally erupted. Thus, I had succeeded in my revenge against Lily and James. They fled to James's parents' house, but I had already explained the situation to them, so they were turned away. Furthermore, James's father, no longer wanting to employ such a miscreant, forcibly dismissed James from his job. Apparently, there had already been numerous reasons to fire James due to his problematic behavior at the company, so disowning him didn't take much time. As I later learned, Lily and my brother-in-law soon divorced. Despite Lily's plea, she lacked the resources for a lengthy legal battle and had to accept the terms my brother-in-law laid out, including a significant alimony payment. The wedding scheduled for the next day was canceled. Thanks to my brother-in-law's excellent lawyer, we managed to get a substantial amount of money from them, and now they're struggling to make ends meet. I explained the situation to those who were to attend the wedding. Everyone was shocked but offered their support and understanding. I had informed the neighbors about the situation with Lily and James, ensuring they didn't call the police during their 2 days locked in the shutter, which would have jeopardized our plan. The neighbors, who always liked me and saw Lily as the unpleasant sister, were on my side, leaving Lily and James ostracized in the community. I heard from friends that Lily and James, once living a lavish life as if on a golden carriage, had drastically changed their fortunes. Now struggling just to get by each day, They were leading a life of poverty and had become noticeably gaunt. 4 years later, I'm devoted to my work, and my brother-in-law is busy with his life. My parents are also living fulfilling days, constantly supporting my life and career. They encourage me to look forward, saying that when I meet someone good again, I should let them make me completely happy, motivated by the hope of bringing joy to them. One day, I've been focusing on improving myself,